Hey, Coach. Ken Kreitzer, Cam Vets Media. Great to see you starting out another season. What's it like for you? You've been here a number of years now. What's it like for you to start another season?
This is going on my fifth season, and the one thing that stays consistent is that the guys will come in here and they've got a work ethic, and it's a good thing this year because we've lost some guys that have or had experience, and if you were to compare last year to this time this time last year to this year, we've got a little ways to go. We got to catch up to some of the experience and get to where assignment isn't a struggle to execute. I think there's some guys on our defense that will step up, and we'll get there at some point. But right now, that work ethic that every year I see out of guys from West Point, that's what we need this year, and that's what we'll have. We'll get there.
Yeah, going into the American Athletic Conference, a new set of teams for the most part, some very good offensive teams, good quarterbacks. What do you see when you look at the American Conference, some of the offenses you're going to face this year?
You know what? This time of year, I don't know that really it's the opponent that I'm looking at so much as it is just us and how we execute what we do. If we execute fundamentals from a consistent and sound standpoint, then I'm really happy, and we'll find a scheme that we can play with against those guys, those opponents. So right now it's just getting guys used to getting lined up, getting their eyes right, understanding an assignment, and playing hard with great fundamentals. And whoever we line up and play against that first game or second game or third game, we'll get to that point a little bit later on. But right now, it's about us being a little bit better than where we're at.
And some of the standouts coming back, you look at Caleb Fordner, had a great play against Navy last year, great season, over 60 tackles, and Jeff Latour, Kyle Lewis, Brent Arena, and Aaron Bivens, Max DiDomenico, another captain. How do those returning players help you build a new defense?
We've got some guys. One of the things that we knew last year was we wanted to try to get some guys into ball games and get some reps built up, especially early in the season. And some of the younger guys, we were able to get reps for them because we knew there were a lot of guys were going to be graduating, after this past season. So getting those younger guys in ball games, we were inconsistent. We didn't fit the defense as well as what we would have liked to have done. But those reps now need to pay off for us, and I think there's potential on all of those guys that you just mentioned, but now it's just about getting the consistent factor, and I think those guys understand that, and they'll work towards that, and we'll get there.
Very good. And maybe some of the players, some of the younger players, freshmen and sophomores from last year that you really need to step up. You see already starting to emerge into roles this year.
I think Eric Ford is a guy that we look at that does a really nice job of coming off the edge, but Elo Mendoza is another one. So that's a great competition at that battle at that position, and we look at a lot of the Apaches. We moved Casey Larkin to Apache. And there's a lot of competition there with Chance Keith and Josiah Banks and Hamilton Baker, all those guys working that position, and three of them are seniors, so that's a pretty good deal as well. Jimmy Charlo was a really good football player for us, and to have that many quality players at the Apache position to step in, when Jimmy leaves is a good deal. We got some good young guys that we're excited about. Some freshmen that open your eyes. I don't know if they're physically and mentally ready to help us early in the season, but they're guys that show flashes. Javon Smith is a guy that gets out of his stance really well, and Matt Gemma is a guy with great leadership qualities, and has got. He's got some thickness to him to where he can handle the middle. As I said, those are guys that have opened some eyes, and yeah, we'll continue to evaluate them, but we've got some other people that are probably a little bit further along in the weight room and assignment wise.
Thanks, Coach. I know I have colleagues on the line.
Go ahead, Ken, on Zoom.
Hey, Nate. Ken McMillan from The Record.
Hey, Ken.
Hey, Nate. Do you plan on using the same scheme that you've been using? And what impresses you most? I know we're only a couple days in, but just from spring ball and summer workouts, what impresses you most about this defense?
I think as far as the scheme goes, I've been using the same scheme for over 20 some odd years. So we won't change that a lot, but there's always a little tweak that we like to be able to take into to each season that's a little bit different that that other offenses haven't seen. So we'll be a multiple defense. What do I like so far that we've seen out of the defense? I think there's competition. I think there's competition at a lot of our positions up front in the front seven, and that's good. That I think what I've seen over the last 2 years is our defense has continued to get better as the season goes on, and we're playing our best ball at the end of the year. The goal now is to come out and play better and more consistent earlier in the season. So the competition factor up front in the front seven is going to be good for us. How quickly we decide on who the starters are and who our two deep is, that's we're still working on that. So on the back end, maybe not quite as much depth on the back end as what we're used to.
You've coached as an independent team. You've coached in leagues. Do you have a preference? And what do you see as the bonus of being able to play in a league?
I'll be honest with you. I'm probably not. I'm not in tune to whether we play as an independent or in a conference. All I want to do is get our guys to execute as well as they can. So it's teaching the defensive guys, how to read quickly. It's putting guys with great reflexes in positions to where they can play fast and not have to go through a thinking process, and evaluating those guys and getting them on the field as much as possible. So that in itself is what the main goal is, and who we're playing against. There's some tweaks here or there from a scheme standpoint that you'll go into a ball game with, but it's more about your own team. It's more about just being the very best version of who you are, and that's our goal right now is finding those guys that read things quickly and not slow, and guys that have great reflexes and can turn speed to power.
Just to stay on that point for a second, you're going into a league where there's familiarity. Army's played a lot of these teams in recent years, so is that a bit of a comfort?
Once again, I don't. Whether we've played a team, one time or 10 times, it's still about what we do from a standpoint of read and react, and how well are we at getting our play set on free or playing with a base and being able to cross face of blocks and just the fundamentals of defensive play. And those are the things that are most important to me. What type of offenses we play against, it's always going to be something a little bit different. Week in and week out, every year that I've been a coach, it's always changed, quite a bit. So whether we're in a conference or independent, not a big difference for me.
Dre Miller is coming in shortly. Can you just talk about his contributions to the team? What was it like to see him kind of on the field prone in Syracuse, but come back the way he did?
I think Dre has always been a guy that'll give you great effort, and he's continued to develop, and now he's a player that we count on. I think he's gotten to a point to where he's way more consistent, and you go back and you look at that late in that ball game against Syracuse when he got hit and injured. Anytime one of your players goes down like that, you hold your breath and you say a prayer, and I mean, it hurts. It hurts to see one of your guys go down like that, and then to see him come back and be able to play and where he's healthy again. Man, it's an incredible relief, and you just value those relationships so much that I don't know that I can really explain just how much it means to me to see him out there playing and doing well.
Thank you, Nate.
Sure can.
Hey, Coach Woody, it's Sal from Black Bay Nation. How are you?
Hey, Sal.
Hey, more on your scheme with the graduation of a lot of starters from last year, and yeah, you have guys who played in the system, but is it the multiple side of your scheme that makes it easier for you to plug in players, or what makes it easy for you to say you're going to have confidence in the players, for this season?
I think we've recruited guys to play this style of defense. There may have been some positions that we don't quite have as much depth that we'd like to have, and that if we did, we might go and play a little bit more of a certain package. If we had more depth at a certain position. But we sit around and our coaching staff and myself go back and evaluate and see what it is that we're going to be good at based off of the personnel that we've got this year. So, one coverage that we major in, 1 year, we might not play that as much the next season. I just want to give the guys a chance to be fast and be able to just play to the very best of their ability. And sometimes when you ask them to do something that they're not very good at, and that's when you're stomping your feet and you throw your hat down and stuff like that. So if you don't want to throw your hat down and stomp your feet, give them something that they're good at playing. So that's the goal. That's the goal of our defensive staff, and we've got enough variation in our defense where we can study that during the course of our summer camp and then major in it during the course of the season.
Nice. The cornerback position, I know Donovan Platt is back with experience. It's early, but who are some of the people that you're keeping your eye on for, the two starting corners with the graduation that you had?
You know what? Today was the first day that we had shoulder pads on. The first couple of practices were just shorts and helmets. And you look around at guys that can run, and we've got a lot of corners that can move around really well. But before I start naming names, guys just football is a sport to where you got to put shoulder pads on, and you got to be able to have a toughness about you and get ball carriers down and get off blocks, and so. I can't really sit down and say these are the guys that I'm looking at. I'm looking at all of them. So the evaluation process is going on, throughout this week, and then we'll pare it down a little bit each week and hone in on our two deep as we get further into camp.
One more. Is there a guy that you look at from spring to now you look at who's made a lot of gains, whether it be in the weight room or on the field, that really stands out for you, or a few players?
I guess just one that I thought at the linebacker position. I feel like we're. I like our linebacker room right now. I think we've got. I think we got some guys that maybe last year, early in the season, weren't quite as consistent as what we would have liked, but they have continued to mature and get better. And right now, I like that room. Andy Thomas is a guy that didn't play many snaps for us last season, but he's stepped up and shown consistency. Ability to read things quickly and I throw his name out there, but really that whole room right now, I'm impressed with.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Sure.
Hey, Nate, one more question. Excuse me. Did you have a number of position changes from spring ball to now, or that you're working on?
No, not really. I think we always have a little bit of flexibility up front where guys can play like an inside nose tackle position or play some at defensive end. We got guys that at the dog position that can play with their hand down. So if we talk about edge rushers, usually we're talking about the dogs and then our five techniques to the field. So Trey Sophia is a guy that'll move over and play the other edge position, but mostly no. Most of the guys are playing the same positions as they have been.
Thanks, Nate.
Sure.
We're good, Coach.
All right. Thanks. Take care.